Two caveats for today's episode. First of all, I apologise for my hair. It's rubbish. I'm aware of that. I've just woken up. I'm in the back lounge of the tour bus at an arena. There is a band currently sound checking on the main stage. It's going to be not the best audio. That, in conjunction with the fact that the computer that I used to record the audio didn't have enough space on it, so I was freeing up some space by deleting stuff, and I deleted today's audio. So it's going to sound pants compared to usual because the audio is coming from the camera itself, which is not what we usually do. I usually have a fancy microphone and all that stuff. In short, and to summarise, I've ballsed it up. But I hope you can still glean some enjoyment from today's comments episode. Lots of love, guys. Thanks a lot, and apologies for both the hair and the sound. Cheers. Good day to you one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again, live from the backstage area of the Leeds Arena. Tonight we're playing with Blackstone Cherry here in Leeds Arena, hence doing this. I mean, this is the back of the bus. As you can see, it is all glamour. Today's a brilliant day because it's Comments Day. This is the 44th episode of Comments, and I can't wait to react to a carefully curated selection of your missives, open-heartedly, honestly, and using words. Justin Hawkins rides again. Right, straight in. I'm sorry if there's a somewhat inconsiderate band called Blackstone Cherry. Lovely boys, I'm just joking, but they're sound checking in the background. I hope it's not too loud. Emma Hartley with a lovely super thanks states, "Thanks, we've just been to your Liverpool show. And after the shenanigans with the fire, my question is, have you had to stop any shows before, and why? Awesome gig, by the way. It was my present to my husband for his birthday. We had a blast. Thank you, sir." Okay, well, that has happened once or twice before. Usually when you sort of headline a festival or you're playing on any sort of big stage, there's often a security briefing of sorts, and they tell you, you know, yellow card means you've got to address the audience and let them know that there's a problem. Red card means everyone off the stage, you know. And that was a red card situation in Liverpool. Well, they just pulled the plug, and we all had to leave because our pyro had set fire to something in the building. I remember there was one time when I had to stop a show because somebody had an epileptic seizure in the front row when we were playing in Australia. That was around about 2004, I think, or maybe it was even later than that, I'm not sure. But yeah, it does happen from time to time. You've got to be prepared for those things, and as like the responsible master of ceremonies, stroke frontman, individual with the microphone, it's often my job to usher people away from the danger area. Thanks for your comment, Emma. Nin Stardust with another super thanks. Cheers. Thank you for a freaking awesome show in Cardiff. Loved every second of it. May I ask, who comes up with the ideas for the Pyrotechnics? Does the band have to learn when they'll be set off, or is it instinctual when they are choreographed to the music? Do they ever surprise you or cause mishaps? PS 10 out of 10 for your spectacular headstand dismount. 'Twas impressive. Alright, thanks a lot. Well, actually, it's a bit of a combination deal. I think my brother worked with the pyro company. There's only one thing that I really insist on in those things, and that is the spark curtain at the top of Growing on Me, which I happen to think is the biggest and best look you can have. I adore those cascading rivulets of light that descend as we begin that song, and indeed the whole set, and it makes me feel like a superhero. So yeah, always good stuff. It depends on the pyrotechnician, really. Sometimes we've had people who can trigger things, you know, a little bit late or a little bit early. I think the technology has changed somewhat, so it's a bit easier to get it on the money nowadays. But we don't use click tracks. We don't use any sort of backing of any sort. Not that that's a reflection on my feelings about backing of any sort, or, you know, tracks or anything. Each to their own, but our own happens to be no tracks. So we need a pyrotechnician who's really on the money with the timing and has a good system and a good instinct for how long these things take to actually detonate. And we've got a really great person called Matt who's on tour with us, and I think his timing is phenomenal, so we're very happy with that at the moment. James Love says, one for Comments Day, I'm also a divorced father to a little girl. My question is, have you written any songs about your daughter or situation with your ex-wife? Or has your child ever influenced your songwriting? Loving the channel, by the way, keep it up. Yeah, I think when you have a kid and you're a songwriter, then everything you do is kind of like, you have to consider it your legacy, really, because after you've gone, those songs will be sitting there for all eternity, and so it changes the way you approach your oeuvre, I think, at that point. If you want to hear songs about my divorce, check out Easter is Cancelled, the Darkness album. It's conceptual. It's about the end of the world and my marriage. Hello. Rick H.A. Cook says, hello Justin, here's a Comments Day question about AI music. I'm playing devil's advocate, but given that half of the chart music is now written to a formula by the same team of songwriters, is that too far removed from AI generated music? Maybe AI will take over that side of things and still leave room for those that write and perform their own music. Thanks, Rick. I mean, I think there's something fascinating about AI and the way it's generated and the way it can actually, simulate the creative process and come up with stuff. But at the end of the day, it means nothing. I mean, you're talking about silty sewage pop music, which is something that I often bemoan, but I do. My feeling about that is that it bankrolls the rest of the music trade. It's always been the case that the successful or popular artists on a label are the ones that bankroll the sort of the interesting artists that actually make a label's name. Make a label something interesting and an imprint that you want to be associated with. I don't know a single musician in the world that would be excited to listen to AI generated music. I mean, it's different if you consume music in a certain way where you don't care about it. It doesn't really matter about the heart and the mind of the individual that creates it. But yeah, I mean, it makes no difference to me. I mean, AI generated music is all that's going to do is put a certain type of numbers writer out of the game. I mean, there's only 12 notes in an octave if you include semitones. There's probably an infinite amount of chords, and there's a way of weaving a melody through any chord sequence. And yeah, I think people's brains are computers, but they're informed by the experiences and the emotional journey that we've had as individuals, as human beings. An AI machine is basically something that you crank up, you type in, write something that sounds a bit like whatever, and let it go. And if that's a satisfying listen for thee, I declare you soulless. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. It's probably not for me, but it's an exciting area to look at if you're a fan of the Terminator franchise of movies and you're not afraid of robots taking over the whole world, then yeah, go for it. Tommy Hand says, one for Comments Day. Hi Justin, I'm just home from watching you smash the granny out of the OVO Hydro in Glasgow. What's your view on fans filming or taking pictures at gigs? Does it bother you? Do you feel crowds nowadays a little less engaging than years gone by? Love your channel and music, keep up the good work, Tommy. Cheers, Tommy. Well, I'll tell you, when you're in a band like The Darkness and you're awesome, you want stuff like that on the internet, really. You want people to see how cool it is. But there comes a time when, I think a tipping point for me is about half of the people with their phones in the air. Because I always feel like, you're in a room, you pay for a ticket, why are you filming it for the people that didn't show up? Fuck those people. Enjoy the show, take part in it, and make it a memorable experience. And for me, it's nice to have a little document of it, but that's why we bring, professional photographers and videographers out on the road with us to find those moments and share them. Your job as a punter is to enjoy yourself, and it's our job to entertain you. Some people can only enjoy themselves through the medium of a telephone, and I understand that. But I do, if it gets to more than half, I tend to encourage people to give it a rest, really. It doesn't really distract me, but I do think that if you're trying to get a vibe off an audience, put your phone away, have a little dance around, it's much easier. Rue's early retirement says, yeah, Justin, how come you're always so nice? Surely there must be some music you've listened to and hated. Or is it just building karmic credits? If do, bless your little cottons. Cheers, Rue's early retirement. I'm not always nice. I think sometimes the things that I say are outweighed by the things that I don't say. But I happen to believe that there's no point in slagging something off just for the sake of it. I look for the things that are positive, because let's face it, we're musicians, we're in this together, and I'm always here to encourage folk in their creative endeavours. I love music in all of its forms, in all of its genres, and that's hopefully what comes across when I'm analysing these things that you might not expect me to actually enjoy. And the other thing is, I quite like stuff that's a bit shit sometimes, you know, because it makes me laugh. And sometimes I feel like I like things that's knowingly shit, you know, like idiot savants rather, who do stuff that's deliberately dumb. I think to an extent some of the Darkness's music is a bit like that too, and I really respect it when I hear it in other artists. So there's something for everyone in every song. I do believe that. All that remains now is for me to say super thanks to the super thanks contributors without their support, this would be a much more difficult thing for me to do. So I really appreciate you guys. That's Paddy O'Gorman, Lynn Sheehan, Tracy Swan, DM2037, LW Carr, Susie Rocks, Stacey Riker, Emma Hartley, Nin Stardust, Way Goner, John Senza, Steve Paleri, Billy Dunnington, Chantal and S. The letter S. Today's episode was brought to you by the letter S and the number 69. I'm just joking! Just Hawkins right again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these 2 videos, and I'll see you in Leeds tonight and Wembley Arena tomorrow. Woo!